Danny Kruger.
Well, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak to this very important bill, and my congratulations as well to the honourable gentleman, the member for Preston, and as he says, a member of the Cooperative Party. I wish I could be a member of the Cooperative Party, Madam Deputy Speaker. I don't see why that role should be confined to members of the Labour Party. I'd love there to be a Conservative and Cooperative member. There's, as I say, a Conservative and Cooperative tradition is a very good and honourable one. And the honourable gentleman mentions Rochdale, of course, and I've visited the home of the pioneers, and he mentions the as it were the caricature. The existence in the 19th century of predatory mill owners, the sort of capitalists who gave capitalism a bad name in that time. There was another tradition, of course, a different sort of mill owner and a different sort of capitalist, and that's the Tory tradition, who recognised that in fact labour and capital were not equal in their relations, and that labour did need some protections. Part of that was the tradition of the Earl of Shaftesbury and other reformers who legislated to protect workers against absolutely outrageous working conditions. But it was also, of course, Conservatives who legalised trade unions, mutuals, friendly societies and cooperatives. It was Disraeli's government that did that because they recognised the importance, as my honourable friend, member for North East Bedfordshire, just mentioned, of enabling people to cooperate and to come together and to bargain together. So both Labour and the Conservatives, I think, have a common heritage in this space. We have a common enemy, which of course is the Liberal Party, who in the 19th century the ones opposing factory reform and the legalisation of trade unions, and don't seem to be here today to discuss this important bill. But I'm afraid to say it's also our two parties, Labour and Conservatives, who are responsible between them for the sad decline in the 20th century of the co-op movement and the mutual movement. One was the creation of the welfare state, which crowded out and effectively abolished so many of those friendly societies and mutuals which had provided welfare and mutual support to working people. And I'm afraid the other development was on our own side, my party, which in the 20th century, in the 1980s and 90s, was responsible for the great demutualisation of building societies, and I regret that. And I was struck. There was a very interesting interview with Maurice Sarchi today in the Times, in which he reflects on what he thinks Margaret Thatcher would think of what has become of her great drive for competition in the finance sector and across industry, actually, and the development of cartels in place of competition. And I think this debate and this important bill is an opportunity to remind ourselves of a different Conservative tradition where we do support these forms of capital and of enterprise. Social enterprise is part of this, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I think the role that community-owned businesses play in our society is crucial too. And I just want to put on record my appreciation of the social enterprise movement in this country, supported in many cases by mutuals and friendly societies in their development. Social enterprises, community-owned businesses, are responsible for more job creation in areas of deprivation. Those jobs last longer. And provide the crucial spirit of enterprise and innovation that our left behind areas need. So there's a very important role, I think, for social enterprise, particularly also in developing pride of place. And I'm very pleased to see my honourable friend, member for Bury North here, whose role in saving Bury Football Club from liquidation in recent years is so commendable. And of course it was because of the efforts of people in Bury to form a new cooperative structure to take over the ownership of that football club that enabled it to be saved, as well as, of course, of the role of the government in providing capital for that, and then subsequently the creation of the Community Ownership Fund, inspired by what had happened to Bury FC. And businesses in my constituency have benefited from that fund, and of course across the country that's the case. And I mentioned quickly the role of mutual finance there as well. There's a tremendous new bank being developed called Avon Mutual, serving the west of England, which is a new modern 21st century mutual bank. and I also just want to quickly place on record my delight to see, he's not here today, he's presumably taking up a role in his new office, the Honourable Member Offrend, Member for Thirsk and Moulton, who's been appointed to the Business Department. He is a great champion of the mutual tradition. There he is, my goodness, he's sitting here. Dude, I was praising him behind his back, and he is here to listen. I'm very, very pleased that he's got the role he has. He is also a tremendous champion of the crucial importance of regional banks that support local economies, and I hope that that's something he'll be taking up in his new role. So I welcome the bill, and particularly this role that will create a kind of asset lock for mutuals. This is a crucial point, and I think it's a really important lesson for us who believe in capitalism, believe in the importance of enterprise and of free enterprise, that not all capital is fungible. It's not appropriate just to allow all capital to be, as it were, blown to the four winds, the whim of speculators and investors. It is important sometimes to lock capital in the places where it belongs for the benefit of the people that it was invested for. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.